state.
Everybody, good morning. Why don't we go ahead and get started? I now call to order this rescheduled special meeting of the Anchorage Assembly. Today is October 31, 2024. We're scheduled to meet from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Right now, it is 10:03 a.m. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Member Myers,
Here.
Member Martinez,
Present.
Member Littlefield,
Here.
Member Rivera,
Present.
Member Johnson,
Here.
Chair Constant,
Here.
Vice Chair Zolotel,
Here.
Member Bronga,
Here.
Member Voland, Member Brawley,
Here.
Member Salt, Member Presverdia. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there anyone on the phone we didn't hear? Nope. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Myers, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Brawley, would you please read the land acknowledgement?
Yes, Mr. Chair. A land acknowledgement is a formal statement recognizing the indigenous people of a place. It is a public gesture of appreciation for the past and present indigenous stewardship of the lands we now occupy. It is an actionable statement that marks our collective movement toward decolonization and equity. The Anchorage Assembly would like to acknowledge that we gather today on the traditional lands of the Dena'ina Athabascans. For thousands of years, the Dena'ina have been and continue to be the stewards of this land. It is with gratefulness and respect that we recognize the contributions, innovations, and contemporary perspectives of the Upper Cook Inlet Dena'ina.
Thank you, Ms. Brawley. Next, we have on the agenda, I would note Mr. Presverdia has joined us on the phone. The first part of this process is we don't have any other item on the agenda except for the executive session regarding 4A1 Port of Alaska Modernization Project Review of Proposed Terms and Schedule for T1 Construction Contract Rebid. First, Ms. Zolotel, if you might begin the conversation about why an executive session is warranted, and then we'll pivot to Assembly Council.
Well, I would make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion to go to executive session by Ms. Zolotel, second by Ms. Brawley. Ms. Zolotel.
Thank you. Actually, the municipal manager would probably be best to speak to this because all the information I have has been relayed from her.
Thank you, Member Zolotel. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the purpose of the meeting today is to review with the body proposed changes to contractual terms that we would plan to put out as part of a request for proposals for contractors to take on the T1 construction for the Port of Alaska Modernization Project. By way of background, the original request for proposals for this project was released in January of 2024. We did a two-step process. I know the members are all aware of this. I just want to place it on the record. We did a two-step process where we pre-qualified bidders. We had two qualified bidders, Manson and Kiewit, who proceeded forward through the process. We believed that we were going to receive bids in response to that request for proposals, essentially all the way up until the last week before we were poised to open those bids. When the process concluded and we did go to, to see whether we had received bids, we received no bids in response to that request for proposals. So what we've been doing over the last few weeks is working as quickly as possible to gather feedback specifically from those two qualified bidders, to gather input from our project management team and from our legal team on how we might tweak the terms of the construction deal to make it enticing, to make sure that we have bidders this time, make sure we can get the project back out on the street as quickly as possible. So our goal today is to discuss confidential commercial terms, which are not yet public, and to discuss them openly with this body in such a way that would be potentially financially detrimental to the municipality if it were to be done publicly on the record. And that would be the request. That's the grounds for the request to go into an executive session today in order to have that open discussion about proposed commercial terms before we put them into a request for proposals and make them public.
All right. So to the members, Ms. Gardner, if you want to add anything, you can or not.
I can just add the code citation. AMC 230-036A3 does allow executive session for discussion of matters, the immediate knowledge of which would clearly have an adverse effect upon the finances of the municipality. So
Okay.
my opinion is that executive session is warranted.
Thank you. Any discussion on the question? Hearing and seeing none, members, well, I'll just do unanimous consent vote. Any objection to the motion to go into executive session? I am seeing and hearing none. The motion has been adopted unanimously. So next, we'll go ahead and clear the room for everybody who is not party to the discussion at this time. And so from the administration, I don't know who you would like to have remain in the room to be able to make your arguments or case.
We'd like to keep the team from Jacobs Engineering with us and also the team from procurement with us, purchasing, if that's possible.
Okay, thank you.
And also, and we have the Safe First team on the phone, right? We have our outside counsel who've worked with us on the phone who'd like to keep on as well.
Okay, there's a secondary phone number that we'll need to provide. And it's been requested that the document you're going to present is shared by email to the members who are on the phone. Recognizing, of course, to the members that the document is confidential in nature and has to be protected. Bill, and your email is the phone number for the executive session.
Mr. Chair, I think Sarah Rigg has gone to go make sure that she can email this out. My request to members on the phone would be that you delete the file after we complete this meeting in accordance with our general practice of collecting items at the end of executive sessions. And we can certainly provide it via email.
All right, thank you. So stand by for that. Do we have the room cleared? And for the folks in the news, we need them to go all the way down the hall. It'll be just a couple moments before we get there. We're still streaming, yeah, so. Have we opened the second phone line? Okay, thank you.
Please enter your participant or moderator code followed by the pound key.
Big paper. Yes, very big paper. This is why I was a little.
Please say your name.
We're just waiting for the phone setup to get kind of lined up and then we can dive in. And just notably, we are scheduled just to 11, but we do have half an hour break between the end of this meeting and the next, so. I'm not so worried about who's on. I'm more concerned about, are we set up? Is the phone line on? And is the tape? Okay, thank you. So let's go ahead and get started. As long as we have a majority, we do. So a quorum. Thank you, everybody. Next. Now that we are in not in executive session, now that a motion has been made to adjourn to executive session, the phones have all been switched. We'll go ahead and do the preliminary roll call. Why don't we actually go around the room and say everybody's name? It'll be easier, starting with Mr. Presverdia.
Cameron Perez-Verdia.
Mark Littlefield.
Karen Bronga.
Scott Myers.
Anna Brawley.
Meg Zalaton.
Christopher Constant on the phone. Mr. Rivera.
Present.
Thank you. On the phone, Mr. Johnson. Thank you. On the phone, Mr. Martinez.
Present.
Thank you. From the administration,
Becky Wynn Pearson, Municipal Manager.
everybody.
Eric Adams with Jacobs Engineering.
Bill Falsey, Chief Administrative Officer.
Eva Gardner, Municipal Attorney.
Jasmine Akers, Deputy Municipal Clerk.
From the Muni Assembly Council.
Dean Gates, Assembly Council.
Matthew Hurt, Legislative Council.
Suzanne Lightborn, ASL Interpreter, and Joan Hoeler, Hoeler, ASL Interpreter.
And in the back of the room, it needs to be in a microphone. There's my brain. It's Halloween. Yeah.
Melanie Clark, Senior Construction Buyer for Procurement.
Sarah Rolando, I'm part of the Jacobs team.
All right. And also we're joined by Mayor LaFrance just in time. And on the phone, we also have, who else?
Allison Ashford, South Shore.
Can you say that again?
Allison Ashford from South Shore, outside legal counsel.
Anyone else? Okay, that looks like we got everyone. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and change the tape, do the roll call one more time.